Hello everyone, my name is Robert, and I have been a health and wellness advisor for over 30 years. I'm in my early 50s, and throughout my career, I have guided countless people through the many changes that come with aging. Today, I want to share a story that I believe will resonate with many of you, because it is about real-life experiences that older adults often face but rarely discuss openly. This is the story of Margaret, a lively woman who is 68 years old. A few years ago, Margaret was always on the move. She loved meeting friends, gardening in her backyard, traveling to new places, volunteering at her local community center, and participating in neighborhood events. Her days were full, vibrant, and joyful. She had a strong social circle, a busy schedule, and a sense of purpose that kept her energized. But recently, she began noticing subtle changes that she had not anticipated. Tasks that used to feel effortless now required more energy, and some challenges left her feeling frustrated or occasionally isolated. Her experience is not unique. In fact, it mirrors the journey of many older adults. While aging brings inevitable difficulties, there are practical steps we can take to adapt, maintain independence, and continue living a full life. Today, I'll walk you through 12 common challenges seniors face as they age, sharing both Margaret's experiences and actionable strategies that I've seen work time and time again. The first challenge many older adults experience is forgetting names and important details. Margaret recently ran into her neighbor, someone she had known for over a decade, at the grocery store. She froze for a moment, unable to recall her neighbor's name. That brief pause left her feeling embarrassed, even though she knew deep down that her neighbor would understand. Memory lapses like this are a normal part of aging and do not indicate that someone is losing their mind. Our brains naturally change as we get older, and sometimes retrieving information takes longer. Margaret found it helpful to keep a small notebook or use a phone app to jot down names and small details about people she meets. She began making tiny notes about their hobbies, their children, or interesting topics they mentioned in previous conversations. Reviewing these notes before social interactions helped her feel confident and connected. One afternoon, Margaret was at a local coffee shop and noticed an acquaintance she hadn't seen in years. She reached for her notes discreetly and refreshed her memory about the person's family and interests. This small action allowed her to have a warm, engaging conversation, and her acquaintance left feeling remembered and appreciated. I often tell my clients that embracing memory tools is a sign of intelligence and care, not weakness. You are actively taking steps to remain engaged and thoughtful. Have you ever forgotten a name at the worst possible moment? Think about what strategies might help you in similar situations. Sometimes, even repeating a detail out loud to yourself or visualizing the person in a specific setting can trigger your memory. Small daily exercises like reviewing names, practicing memory games, or even reading aloud can strengthen cognitive recall. These little habits, repeated consistently, make a significant difference over time. Another challenge Margaret faced is sudden fatigue. Even simple tasks like making lunch, walking to the mailbox, or tidying the living room began to feel exhausting. She found herself needing more breaks and felt drained after activities that were once second nature. Fatigue is common with age, but it can be discouraging to experience it unexpectedly. Margaret realized that ignoring her body's signals only made matters worse, so she began paying closer attention to her energy levels and adjusting her routines accordingly. To manage her energy, Margaret learned to pace herself, breaking her day into smaller chunks of activity, interspersed with rest periods. She paid attention to the times of day when she felt most energetic and scheduled demanding tasks during those windows. Staying hydrated was critical because dehydration worsens fatigue, and she focused on eating smaller, balanced meals throughout the day, rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. She discovered that short moments of stretching or light movement between tasks helped her avoid feeling sluggish. Over time, these small adjustments allowed her to regain energy for activities she truly enjoyed, such as walking in her neighborhood, gardening, or volunteering at her local community center. She also found that spending even 10 minutes outside in the fresh air or sunlight had a remarkable impact on her energy and mood. Unexpected weight changes were another reality. Despite maintaining her usual activity, Margaret noticed gradual weight gain, particularly around her midsection. Many seniors experience this because metabolism naturally slows with age. To manage it, Margaret adjusted her diet to focus on nutrient-dense foods, reducing processed foods, sugary snacks, and fried items. She incorporated regular exercise into her daily routine, emphasizing moderate activities like brisk walking, yoga, and light strength training. Strength exercises were essential for maintaining muscle mass, which burns calories even at rest. She also discovered that consistency mattered more than intensity. Small, daily efforts accumulated over time, leading to better weight management, improved posture, and increased stamina. I have seen many clients experience a renewed sense of confidence once they adopt this mindset, focusing on sustainable changes rather than dramatic transformations. Frequent doctor visits became a new part of Margaret's life. Initially, the number of appointments, blood tests, and routine checkups felt overwhelming. But over time, she came to see these visits as a positive reflection of her commitment to health. Regular appointments allow for early detection of potential issues, which can prevent more serious problems. To manage the load, Margaret created a health calendar to track appointments and maintained a medical journal noting symptoms, medications, and questions for her doctor. This organization gave her a sense of control and reduced stress. It also empowered her to engage more actively in her health decisions. One tip I always give clients is to prepare a list of questions before each appointment to maximize the time with the doctor, often uncovering information that might otherwise be overlooked. Margaret also learned to advocate for herself, asking her doctor to explain test results in plain language, which helped her feel more informed and involved in her care. Cognitive changes were another challenge. Reading, once a favorite pastime, became difficult. After only a few minutes, Margaret's mind would wander, and she struggled to focus on stories. Cognitive changes like these are common, but can be improved with practical strategies. Margaret learned to break reading into shorter sessions and supplemented her mental activity with puzzles, word games, and new hobbies. She began learning a simple musical instrument, which required her to memorize patterns and strengthen focus. Maintaining a good sleep schedule, balanced nutrition, and regular physical activity also supports cognitive function. Over time, these strategies allowed her to regain focus and enjoy intellectual pursuits again. She discovered that sharing what she learned with friends in a small book group reinforced her memory and made the activity more enjoyable. Loneliness is another common challenge. Over the years, friends moved away or passed on, and social circles naturally shrink. Margaret felt this loss deeply, missing the interactions and companionship that once filled her days. To combat loneliness, she explored local clubs, classes, and online communities. Even small, consistent interactions like a weekly phone call or brief coffee meetup can provide meaningful connection. Margaret discovered a local gardening club and an online book group, which gave her new friendships and regular social interactions. Maintaining social connections is as crucial as physical exercise or nutrition because emotional well-being directly impacts overall health. I often remind clients that it's the quality of interactions, not quantity, that matters. Even brief, meaningful exchanges can uplift your mood and reinforce your sense of belonging. Mobility also became an area of concern. Walking around the block or bending to tie her shoes felt more challenging than before. Aging affects flexibility, balance, and strength, making regular physical activity essential. Margaret incorporated gentle stretching, yoga, swimming, and short daily walks into her routine. She performed simple strength exercises targeting her legs and core to maintain stability and balance. Starting slowly and being consistent were key factors in maintaining mobility and reducing the risk of falls. Over time, she noticed improved flexibility and more comfort in daily movements. I encourage my clients to integrate movement into everyday activities, such as standing while brushing teeth, doing light squats while watching TV, or walking short distances instead of driving. These small actions add up and preserve functional independence. Sleep difficulties also emerged. Margaret found it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep, often waking during the night and feeling exhausted the next day. Hormonal changes, stress, and physical discomfort often contribute to sleep disturbances. She established a consistent bedtime routine, limited caffeine in the afternoons, and practiced relaxation techniques such as gentle stretching and deep breathing before bed. She also created a sleep-friendly environment, keeping her bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. These adjustments led to longer and more restorative sleep, positively affecting her energy and mood during the day. Margaret discovered that reading a calming book or listening to soft music before bed helped signal to her body that it was time to relax. Changes in vision and hearing were another reality. Margaret needed updated glasses and sometimes hearing assistance. Staying on top of eye and hearing exams allowed her to address issues early and maintain independence. Using assistive devices confidently helped her stay engaged in conversations and activities, preserving her connection with the world. She learned to adjust seating arrangements during social events to hear better, and even started using subtitles while watching TV to ease eye strain and maintain enjoyment of her favorite shows. Temperature sensitivity also became noticeable. Margaret found that what once felt comfortable, whether a warm afternoon or a crisp winter morning, now felt extreme. Dressing in layers, adjusting her home environment, and choosing appropriate fabrics for seasonal comfort helped her navigate these changes and remain comfortable throughout the year. She also discovered that pacing herself outdoors, avoiding peak heat or cold, and keeping a thermos of water nearby made a significant difference. Mood changes, including irritability, became more frequent. Margaret sometimes snapped over minor inconveniences, which can result from hormonal shifts, brain chemistry, or stress. She practiced deep breathing, mindfulness, and kept a daily gratitude journal to cultivate calm and focus on the positive. Over time, she regained emotional balance, which improved her relationships and overall well-being. I often remind clients that recognizing emotions early, acknowledging them without judgment, and finding small outlets for expression can prevent frustration from escalating. Finally, learning to accept help without feeling a loss of independence was crucial. Margaret initially struggled with asking for assistance but realized that accepting support could actually empower her. By receiving help from family, friends, or professionals, she conserved energy for meaningful activities. Delegating tasks freed her time and provided a renewed sense of control and purpose. Margaret found that by focusing on what she could control, rather than feeling frustrated by limitations, she maintained her confidence and independence in meaningful ways. Aging brings challenges, but with understanding, proactive strategies, and support, life can remain fulfilling, active, and meaningful. Margaret's journey demonstrates that by embracing change and adopting practical strategies, it is possible to maintain independence, mental sharpness, physical mobility, and emotional balance. You are not alone in this journey. Implementing small, consistent changes, staying socially engaged, and seeking help when needed allows every stage of life to be lived fully and joyfully. Reflect on which strategies might help in your own life. Share these insights with someone who may benefit, and continue learning ways to age gracefully while maintaining health, energy, and happiness.